The sun has grown disgusted with the terrible deeds it must shine upon each day. Damnation is upon us all.
This is the story of the Tainted Sun and the quest's original appearance in Diablo 2. While searching for the headpiece to complete the Herodric staff, upon entering the lost city located off the far oasis, a sudden eclipse darkens the sky, and the quest notification button pops up telling us to speak to Drognan in town about the mysterious darkness. This triggers the Tainted Sun quest, and both quests conveniently have the same destination, the Claw Viper Temple. Heading back to Lutko Lane for clues of this mysterious eclipse, we seek out Drognan, who says,
"I've been researching this lengthy eclipse, and I believe it to be the work of claw vipers. Find their temple beneath the desert sands, and you may find the source of this curse."
What a powerful piece of sorcery for the serpentine demons. We realize to overcome this curse, we should seek the aid of the townsfolk, however, many of which point us back to Drognan, of whom we've already spoken.
My astrologers failed to predict this eclipse. You should seek Drognan's advice.
Drognan the wizard will have some idea as to what is happening.
Drognan may have some advice on this matter. I think I'll speak with him myself.
This unnatural nightfall is no doubt caused by evil sorcery. Drognan might know what we are dealing with.
However, the remainder of the villagers have more insight into the matter. Squinting to see, we bump our way around town, starting with Elzix, the ex-bandit lord turned innkeeper, who says,
"Two men arrived late last night bearing a story about evil magic. They said they saw a gathering of giant snake creatures performing some arcane ritual. They sound like the serpent men of the desert."
Who are these mysterious men? Surely the Wanderer and his companion, Marius, wouldn't stand idle in town to tell of an impending attack orchestrated by the three. Or is it men whispering of dark arts born of the occult? We should perhaps investigate further. We then seek out the rum-soaked Geglash, who muses,
"This whole place is one big ale fog."
I don't know if Geglash is being serious, but hey, at least it'll appear more alluring to the ladies in the dimly lit tavern. We then seek out the hired muscle, Grays, to get more grounded news of what this has done to the morale of his militia.
"This midday darkness reeks of foul magic. My men and I are trying to keep the peace, but this kind of thing really scares people."
If the flesh-eating ratamant wasn't enough to shake the townsfolk to the very core, everything has got to be scarier in the dark, and the people must be petrified. We then see the potion-brewing Lysander, who curses,
"Claw vipers. This outer darkness mirrors the inner blackness of their souls. It is they who have eclipsed the sun, I'll wager. They are a venomous band."
Venom seems to be the least of our worries. How do you fight what you cannot see? Speaking next to the sailor Mashif by his ship, he states,
"This permanent darkness is very unsettling. It would make navigation by stars easier for me, though."
Perhaps he is right. We've been abandoned by the light of heaven, but it's our duty as a holy paladin in the absence of light to carve out the darkness by force if necessary. Back in the ruins of the lost city, we're forced to contend with hordes of what appear to be ex-residents, reawakened from their slumber. Perhaps at home in the cold, dark nothingness, the allure to come above ground calls to them, and so we hack through a pile of wretched, rotten risen. After dealing with a pack of undead, marauders and their kin, we find the Valley of Snakes adjacent to the lost city, guarded by a plethora of fire towers that are brutally efficient at flinging flames and other nefarious defenses of the ancient city. It's then we stumble upon the entrance of the Claw Viper Temple and steel our resolve as we enter, saying,
"Light guide my way in this accursed place."
The temple itself is overrun with undead, skeleton warriors girded with their now all too familiar guardians, and the embalmed that have nasty, noxious gas they release upon re-death. Making our way to the second level, and quite leery of the lack of abundant vipers, we seek the wisdom of the townsfolk once more, greeted by Atma, who is clearly addled by the time-twisting taint.
I was going to go to bed, but then I realized that I have no idea what time it is. It could be the crack of dawn for all I know.
Geglash then ponders,
It's strange when the morning after the night before is still the same night.
Kane helpfully informs,
The source of this spell is probably a magical altar. It will not be enough to kill the claw vipers. To reverse the spell, you must destroy the altar.
Farah then horrifically reveals,
The claw vipers practice evil magic. They have also been known to kidnap travelers and sacrifice them to their dark gods.
I wonder which gods they serve outside of the Evil Three. Lysander then points us in a new direction.
I don't know much about the habits of claw vipers, to be honest. Drognan will probably know something about the nature of the magic at work.
Mashif then admits he's grown less fond of the stars, even if they would aid with his travels.
I've had about enough of this darkness. I don't even know what day it is anymore.
Wareve waxes lyrical.
The calculated coldness of the reptilian brain makes the claw vipers uncanny adversaries.
Jaren tells us what we already know.
This eclipse is a definite manifestation of evil.
Elzix humorously muses,
I usually charge for rooms by the night, but I may have to soon change that.
Drognan then confirms Kane's theory of the Viper's true power.
I've discovered a reference to a similar eclipse several hundred years ago. It says that some desert-dwelling snake demons had erected an evil altar which caused the sun to go black. Perhaps we're dealing with something similar here. Look for an altar in the Claw Viper Temple.
And before we head off, Grays assures us,
Don't worry. My men and I have an iron grip on this town. If those cursed claw vipers are plotting anything against us, we'll be prepared for them.
it's good to know we aren't going to have the town terrorized for a second occupation of Lutko Lane by treacherous demons. And with our companion Paige fallen, we enlist Grays' help of a warrior, Wahid, for a much-needed second sword arm in the tomb. With our sights set firmly on finding an altar in the Claw Viper Temple, we portal back once more into the depths of the dark and dank dungeon. As we enter level 2, we see a big, strange, dusty pit in the middle of the room, girt by pillars, which we cannot make out quite what the contents are. Here we will find more claw vipers and a super unique monster called Fangskin. Defeating Fangskin and his kin, we pick up a powerful yellow falchion called Impsaw, boasting elemental and added damage, plus a piece of blue mail, and exploring the tomb further, we see what appears to be viper deities on the walls adorned with human skulls. In the southwest side of the room is a cage full of human bodies from God only knows where. As then we head up the sandy stairs in the middle of the room and see an altar which is covered in blood and looks to be a site of unholy rituals. Upon breaking the altar, flashes of light release, as if trapped in this ghoulish seat of worship. And as the light finally floods back the darkness and it abates, we state,
The light can never be extinguished by evil.
Not only does this complete the Tainted Sun quest, but in the altar we see it also yields the coveted Viper Amulet, the missing headpiece of the Herodric Staff. As we head back to town, the headpiece in hand, light shines anew on the desert jewel, and we are warmly greeted by Atma, who says,
You have done well to restore light to our world.
Geglash saunters over and slurs.
So this is daylight. It's overrated.
Looks like no more beer goggles for the rest of the town, hey Geggy old boy. We then spy Kane, who beckons to us, saying,
The Viper amulet you bear is actually the headpiece of a Herodric staff. Yes, you have an uncanny knack for finding rare and valuable artifacts. Of course, you'll have to use a Herodric cube to combine the headpiece with the shaft.
Farah then calls to us and says, and we agree.
Drogman seems to have taken you into his confidence. This is good, for you will benefit from his wisdom.
Drognan's wisdom of the Horodrim, and as is Kane's, is invaluable, especially of this area. Lysander then queries,
Oh, claw vipers are fond of magical artifacts. Did you happen to find one in their temple?
a wry mention of the staff headpiece perhaps, or of the booty. Speaking of which, down at the docks, Mashif too has booty on his brain.
So, did you plunder any booty?
How quickly do they forget the sun was literally blotted out and their minds are firmly fixated on things that shine in the light. It's then we seek out the caravanner Wareve to tell him of the good news.
With renewed daylight, one may gather the wits that were scattered about like restrictive undergarments in the darkness.
I feel like Wareve is channeling Geed there, but no need to chafe. We then proceed to the palace where Jeren beckons us over as we had been instructed by Kane and says,
"The sun again shines on Lut Gholein. I'm beginning to like you, traveler."
At least one person is wholly grateful for the feat we'd have accomplished. Although perhaps I spoke prematurely about Elzix, who has a certain gleam in his single peeper, as he pronounces.
It takes but one eye to revel in the beauty of our restored sun.
I'm glad he too appreciates the effort put forth. Heading back to the original quest giver, we see Drognan, who congratulates us.
You did well in destroying the Claw Vipers. We are all glad to see the sun return to its former glory.
Glory. Wearing full-plated packing steel in this heat, I can conjure a few other words for it. Unfastening a few notches on said armor to let in a nice, gentle breeze, we finally make one last stop with the mercenary Grace before we head out again, who says,
I'm glad that's over with.
"You and me both, Grace. You and me both." However, although victory for the light and staff pieces is complete, I believe this, unfortunately, is just the beginning of the town's woes. That's it for the quest. Make sure to subscribe to stay up to date with my upcoming lore videos out most weekdays at 7 PM PST. And if you want to further the conversation, my social accounts are linked below. I'd love to chat, and we have a brand new Discord to celebrate lore, and we'll be running a Diablo 4 guild in which all are welcome, so check it out. Thanks for watching. And until next time, traveler.